Our next question comes from a long-term viewer who asks, who else sees the Christ in Central America? And then asks, who else sees Ramakrishna in Bangladesh, Myanmar?
Who will answer this question, friends? Very much upstairs, a feeling of not wanting to acknowledge inconvenient reality.
I feel that feeling.
And they can see the Christ presence in Bangladesh, Myanmar.
That's true.
And they can see the Christ presence in Central America.
That's true.
And it's the one in Myanmar, Bangladesh is the Krishna representation, but we have to remember that Krishna is a Christly presence, exactly as Christ is a Christly presence, and they're all sitting in that same room of godly presences responsible for planet Earth. So let's not get weird about it. God by any name. There's two on the ground right now in this dimension, and nobody is recognizing them.
That's true.
And this is problematic. If anybody is recognizing them, there's no sign being given of it other than some psychics who
That's true.
see a lot of things.
That's true.
What's that question again?
The viewer asks, who else sees the Christ in Central America? Who else sees Ramakrishna in Bangladesh, Myanmar?
Well, let's do this. Let's take it one at a time and then look up for hands. Show of hands, who sees, right?
Yeah. Who else sees the Christ in Central America?
I see lots of hands.
In that higher dimension room.
That higher dimension room way up high.
Yes.
Well, they're viewing.
They're viewers, and many of them feel like they may not be affiliated with planet Earth in their normal way of being, you know?
Yes. They're viewers. They are other viewers in other dimensions. There are plenty.
That's true.
Many. And they have him kind of like tagged with a marker, like a little red light or something.
Yes. The body where he is.
Yes.
Yes.
Kind of to make it easier for them to spot, I guess.
That's true.
And it has the feeling of kind of like computer graphics, like somehow in their interdimensional viewing they've figured out how to make that happen so it's easier to spot him.
That's true.
He keeps getting turned back at the borders.
That's true. It feels like he walks north through Central America.
He gets turned back at the borders.
That's true.
This is really a bad sign. Somebody, guardian angel, is saying, friends, this is a sign that humanity is completely failing the test with which we are being presented.
That's true.
If we're not going to let the Christ himself through the borders, do we want to think about what that says about us?
And the second half of the question is, who else sees Ramakrishna in Bangladesh, Myanmar?
I can see it's kind of like a different viewing area.
Yes, it is.
And there are presences who see them. They feel angrier.
Much angrier.
Why are they angry?
They feel kind of Hindu.
They do, but why would they be angry about Rama or Krishna being on the ground? They feel angry.
Very angry. Well, one thing this could feel like is that I think that someone is getting a lot of credit that is due to me.
Oh, I do feel that kind of grumpy pants, I feel like I've been done wrong feeling.
Like, why is Ramakrishna getting all the attention and everyone's saying nice things about him, and I've done a lot of work, I Shiva, whoever I am, and nobody's paying attention to me.
Are you on the ground also? I do see some other hands who are also
on the ground,
up.
and I can feel like a string that runs from them to ground zero.
I apologize. I apologize. Interesting. So other godly presences in the Hindu pantheon are on the ground right now.
That's true.
In the Myanmar, Bangladesh area.
Feels like human bodies.
Interesting. Fascinating. All right, well, we didn't know about that until just now.
No,
we only
that's
knew
true.
about those two guys, and
That's
as it
true.
turns out, there are a number of godly presences on the ground right now. One of them in active refugee flight in
That's
Central
true.
America, and several others in the refugee camps in Myanmar or Bangladesh. I think the camps are in Bangladesh.
That's true.
And probably, if that's true, then probably we need to consider that other refugee situations might also have this state of affairs.
Exactly.
And that we're being tested, and that the sorting is happening now. And this is not a hypothetical. This is something that does actually have actual consequences. And after the guardian angels turn in their paperwork, there are people, there are souls, lives who are going to be going to the good place, but that's not it. Just they're going to be taken off this suffering biosphere, I think.
That's true.
And everybody who has not made the cut is going to be left to suffer in the hell that humanity has created through our selfishness,
Our bad choices.
and ingratitude, and dodging responsibility, and our lack of integrity, our lying and cheating and stealing and bullying. And we should stop it right now and
That's true.
stop being selfish and greedy.
That's true.
Start being grateful and start doing good deeds like our hair is on fire. Does that answer the question?
You know what might be a relevant follow-up question?
What?
For this viewer who seems to themselves feel like a psychic person who feels that it's real, that these presences are on the ground, what are people like them supposed to do about it?
Oh, wow.
If you can feel, wow, it's real, it's true, there are gods on the ground here on Earth,
What am I supposed
what
to do
am I
about it?
supposed to do? There's a god walking through Central America in a human fleshy body.
Well, we do see the dilemma, because
Right.
if you were to walk around saying that, probably would not go well for you.
Oh yeah.
However, we remember, I can't quite tell who's speaking, but somebody is saying, we remember that the leaders of spiritual communities are supposed to be the ones who are picking up on this and calling to action.
I hear you.
And you can test the spiritual people of your acquaintance and see how they respond to it.
That's
And
true.
they will almost certainly all fail the test.
That's what he's
But
saying.
you will be providing a service to spirit by helping the karmic cycles shorten.
That's true.
And to be a service to spirit is something that might look good on a resume when the sorting occurs.
That's true. So what I think that means is I, this psychic viewer, should start to talk to the people who define themselves as spiritual people in my life about the topic of God on the ground. What if God came into the body of a refugee?
Godly presence.
Godly presence.
Right.
And then whatever they say is the answer to their guardian angel.
Right. And they are the ones who are being tested. Obviously,
That's true.
the person who's answering or asking the question would also be tested, but the test is, do you present it to them, and to try to be understandable. Like, don't try to don't make it a trick question.
That's true.
Try to be understandable, and if they fail, they fail, and if they pass, they pass.
That's true.
And if they pass, then you have a companion, and you can look at each other and say, now what are we supposed to do about this? How can we get him some help? Because quite clearly, don't we want to let those people cross borders?
That's true.
Does that answer the question? They're showing again the words of one of those scientists of climate change who said something like, the situation is so dire that it's irresponsible and unethical to use polite language.
Professor Ceballos.
Professor Ceballos. It's really time for all of us to stop being polite to the status quo and start standing up for the planet. We have so little time to get this completely turned in the other direction. Being carbon neutral by 2025 is a big goal, and some people say it's impossible, but that's nonsense. It's absolutely possible. We need to stop arguing, stop wasting time. The more time that goes by where we do nothing or virtually nothing, the harder it gets to be carbon neutral by 2025. But this is just science. This is like saying gravity is real.
That's true.
And we have to be carbon neutral by 2025 because of physics and chemistry.
That's true.
And when people argue with physics and chemistry, they don't sound very bright.
No, that's true.